Barbados looking to the Development Bank of Latin America for developmental financing. An IT specialist warns of rampant cybercrime. And in sports, Suki and Jack failed to qualify for the World Drafts title.
The CBC News headlines, brought to you with the good wishes of Sagicor General. Wise financial thinking for life.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
Hello, good evening. I'm Lisa Broom. Barbados is joining the Andean Bank of Latin America, which is also called the Development Bank of Latin America, or CAF. Finance Minister Chris Sinclair says it's an alternative route for concessional financing for government, which has been graduated from such financing from the World Bank. He says it's costing government $50 million to join that bank, and government has brought a resolution for a short-term loan of $25 million from First Citizens Bank to access CAF's membership following talks with that institution. Mr. Sinclair says Barbados was first approached to join CAF about 14 years ago, but always found the membership fee to be problematic. He told the House, CAF, which operates like a credit union, is the fastest growing AA rated financial institution in the world, which gives concessional loans at just under 3%, adding that Barbados would be able to borrow at between 4 to 8 times the actual funds it puts into the bank.
What CAF agreed to do for Barbados is that we will get a short-term bridging loan, which is this resolution here that we have before us, from a willing financial institution to get the first $25 million to allow us membership into the CAF, for which we get the full benefits as if we had paid the $50 million, and we could immediately, on getting membership, apply for any projects that we want. And then CAF, in very short order, within months, through a process of preparation, would issue Barbados, on application, a policy-based loan for $50 million. The $25 million to take out the short-term bridging loan, which is the one that we are here discussing this morning, and then the other $25 million will be utilized to as the entrance fee, the other part, the second half of the membership fee later in the calendar year of 2015.
Mr. Sinclair says as a Category C member of CAF, Barbados will be able to access up to $200 million for local projects and $400 million for regional projects. He says Cabinet recently agreed to the proposal for Barbados to join CAF, and on September 4th this year, government signed the provisional documents to join the body. Mr. Sinclair says Barbados has been preparing to access loans from CAF early in the new year.
And the areas that we're looking at is tax efficiency, we're looking at areas of transport, we're looking at areas of international transport and domestic transport, we're looking at areas of debt management and so forth and so on. All of those will constitute the areas, things that we are already doing, things that we have begun to carve out serious ground on in Barbados in terms of the reform of our economy, will all be part of advancing the work for this policy-based loan.
Mr. Sinclair says if a private entity in Barbados wants to access shares in CAF, it must first seek the approval of the House of Assembly. And he's thanked First Citizens Bank for its investment in Barbados and its economy. Government continues to rely on temporary oxygen tanks to keep the economy alive, but none seem to be delivering as promised. That suggestion from opposition leader Mia Motley, who has accused government of borrowing for current expenditure and to pay salaries rather than building capacity to bring the country to a growth path. During her contribution on debate of the CAF, she says the country will be in debt for some time.
Other than borrowing to borrow from CAF, no capital, no access to capital has been unlocked by the government's 19-month adjustment program. And this is what is worrisome to the country, Madam Deputy Speaker, because we all know
that to get out of the rut, the financial and economic rut in which we find ourselves, that we need to be able to restructure this economy.
Ms. Motley says government needs to bring the country up to date on the status of its most recent loans.
The minister needs to report to the country why that $100 million policy-based loan has not become available, particularly since it was the cornerstone upon which the government's expenditure in tourism rests. Indeed, the minister indicated that there was going to be $24 million from that $100 million that would have to be utilized to clear arrears for the Barbados Tourism Authority, which is still in arrears, even though the BTMI has formed itself, the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. has formed itself, and that the rest of the policy-based loan would be used to assist in the marketing of Barbados over an 18-month period.
A warning tonight that cybercrime is rampant in Barbados. Sounding the alarm is Information Security Specialist David Gittings. He was speaking on the sidelines of a fraud management and controls seminar hosted by the Institute of Internal Auditors Barbados chapter.
One of the common things you see is people hacking people's emails. And when they hack your email, they get to read all your email, they get to get copies of your email. So what they normally do in terms of hacking email, is they would read your email for weeks or even months, get an idea of who's your banker, who's your bank rep. Some cases, if you make the mistake of putting a document with your signature in your email, they'll actually steal your signature. And they learn so much about you from reading your email that when they're ready, they can go and create an email to try to fool your bank or to fool your cousin or something, and that is where the identity fraud comes in.
Mr. Gittins adds, however, that people can reduce their risk of becoming victims by following some simple guidelines.
Don't go in an internet cafe and sign on to anything. That is one of the prime places that people get you. Be careful with using private Wi-Fi. Again, you don't really know who owns the Wi-Fi system or who's connected to it, because the main thing people will do is try to get you when you go in internet cafes when you're using free Wi-Fi or just by your just webmail. You know, there are programs designed to steal passwords and things that can guess your password. And within an hour, someone can guess your password if it is simple. And then they can just sign on to your webmail as you, and they can do whatever they like.
Barbados is on course to achieve many of the goals set by the National Youth Policy. This message came from Minister Stephen Lashley at a meeting on the sub-regional development of the youth, which was held at the United Nations House. Minister Lashley highlighted some of these goals and also noted that some of the goals have already been established.
These goals include the establishment of an interministerial committee of all ministries involved directly with the development of young people to bring about synergy, greater efficiency, and effectiveness in the delivery of services, the establishment of the National Youth Parliament, which I referred to, with 70 young people between the ages of 14 to 21, and that has already been established, the establishment of the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme as a center for excellence and an incubator for youth entrepreneurs.
The United Nations Development Programme's Deputy Resident Representative, Laura Blanco, who also spoke at the event, acknowledged that poverty, inequality and exclusion among youth still exists in the region and urged directors of youth affairs and youth leaders to address these concerns during the two-day meeting.
This is a very dynamic and challenging time for the development agenda, and 2015 presents us with an opportunity to agree on the measures required to reduce poverty, inequalities, and exclusion within the sub-region in order to advance sustainable human development. With this in mind, I encourage youth development practitioners to be bold and pragmatic in their thinking about how the national, sub-regional, and regional development agenda post-2015 could be more inclusive, truly participatory, and people-centered, and address the needs of one of the most marginalized.
MultiChoice Television is updating its current system. And it says this may cause some receivers to display a reboot message. Now, if you're experiencing this, follow these steps. Remove the antenna cable. Change channel from 809 without reattaching the cable. Then reattach the cable. When the channel update prompt appears on screens, press OK. Once channel update is complete, you may resume viewing channel 809. MCTV apologizes for any inconvenience caused and thanks you for your patience and understanding during this update. Well, we'll have more news ahead in just a moment, but first we want to get your take on this question. Do you believe there should be tough laws on cyberbullying? Text yes or no to short code 8111. We'll have the result for you at the end of the news.
The Barbados Food and Wine and Rum Festival, November 20th to 23rd. Taste the culinary delights of top local and international chefs like Marcus Samuelson, Anne Burrell, Tyler Florence, Roger Mooking, Michael Hines, Dane Sadler, Daphne's Restaurant, and more. The Barbados Food and Wine and Rum Festival, 5th edition, November 20th to 23rd. Visit foodwinerum.com or contact Premier Event Services Inc. at 435-0670. Get your tickets now at Wine World or TicketPal.com.
What inspires you? Berger Paints. All the colors of you.
And every day until Christmas, get all the shades you love at a fantastic 20% discount on Berger Royale, Weatherproof Ultra, and all the popular Berger brands. Available at retail outlets island-wide. This Christmas, beautify with Berger.
Everybody smile, 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 smile. Milk. Show your teeth, why don't you? Milk, milk, milk. Pine Hill Milk.
There is big news about plans to advance oil exploration in Barbados waters. It's been revealed that the island is reopening bidding next year, allowing for the sale of bid blocks to offshore oil companies, attracting significant foreign investment. Director of the Natural Resource Unit, Jamar White, spoke about the details on today's edition of Morning Barbados.
What we're hoping to do now, what we're intending to do, is to launch a new licensing campaign next year, where we go to the industry again, offer some more of our offshore blocks for bidding, and try to bring some more investment and interest into the country. So that's our main big focus for next year, to try to license some more of the offshore acreage and get some more companies in doing some more work offshore Barbados.
Mr. White also gave an update on negotiations which started back in 2007 with BHP Billington offshore Barbados.
It was our first time really being involved in the offshore petroleum sector, and we wanted to make sure that we got things right the first time. We wanted to make sure that we secured the interests of Barbadians, and we also wanted to make sure that we signed a comprehensive agreement with BHP Billington that would allow them to do comprehensive studies offshore Barbados. There were a number of hiccups along the way in terms of changes of government and BHP changing their senior management, and really and truly the process ideally did take a little too long, but during that time we made sure to focus on making sure we got the process correct.
Barbados has no choice but to become a 24/7 society. That's the view of Industry Minister Donville Innes, who was a panelist during a discussion on flexible work arrangements in a 24/7 economy. He explained how businesses would operate under the 24/7 system and how it would benefit consumers.
Either private or public enterprise or services and goods must become more readily available to consumers or customers, as opposed to just 8 to 4 as we normally have it in Barbados. That means that some entities will perhaps go an extra 2 hours, some may actually go 24 hours. It really depends on what you're offering, what your market, where your market is, and your ability to do it.
President of the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Tracy Shuffler, was also on the panel. She believes the 24/7 system could meet current demand while creating new industries.
The assumption is that if we can meet greater demand for goods and services, then in effect it will bring along production, increase production, and hopefully have an impact of greater productivity as well. Not that the two always go together, but there's an assumption that one can follow the other. This kind of environment should give us better access to markets which are in different time zones than our own. This would then help us to diversify our export markets to which we may now have limited access. And I think that's an important one because we are always talking about foreign exchange earning.
A government agency charged with facilitating young entrepreneurs says the businesses in its portfolio accounted for more than $2 million in revenue last year alone. And according to manager of the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme, Selma Green, that's just part of the overall benefit from businesses owned by young people who are assisted by the program.
In 2013 alone, YES would have created 12 new youth-owned businesses that generated 12 jobs, expanded 8 businesses, retained some 77 jobs, and increased the earning capacity of 20 businesses to generate $2.3 million in income. So our young people are clearly demonstrating that they have the ability to find creative and innovative business solutions that will generate interest from the public, as well as possess the determination and willpower to pursue these ideas.
We'll have regional news next, but first a reminder that we want to hear from you on the question: do you believe there should be tough laws on cyberbullying? Text yes or no to short code 8111. We'll have the results for you at the end of the news. And remember, you can also follow us